G'day there guys, it's your Aussie hubby Markee, back at it again with another episode of r/EntitledPeople. Now I know you love this one, and I know you hate Karens. So with that said, tackle the like button like you would tackle a Karen. And if you want to, chuck an Aussie flag, chuck an American flag, chuck whatever flag you want down in the comments. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, prepare to yell at the absurdity of these situations, and just have a good day. Enjoy the content. Posted by user Konatada, titled, "Guy steals money from me and boasts about it being a hard worker." So this happened back in March. For some context, I'm a 19-year-old, 18 then, female, and I work at a job I absolutely hate, but my work ethic won't allow me to half-ass it. In March, I wanted to buy a piano for myself since my birthday was a month away. I don't like spending my money all that often, so I went to Facebook Marketplace, the best place, to find something a little cheaper. First mistake. I found a cool Casio from a college student, Ass for short. I spoke with him about buying the piano and delivery because I live quite a ways away. The piano itself was $350, but I paid an additional $80 for him going through the trouble of delivering it to me. Second mistake. Here's the lesson, kiddos. Never send money through PayPal without it being through the market section. After sending the money and then waiting until Thursday, sitting in the park that we agreed to meet at for 2 hours, and then driving around aimlessly while waiting for a reply from Ass, I'd been blocked. So I was out $430 and have to continuously make it up at a job that causes me an abhorrent amount of stress for what I do, and the police won't do anything due to everything that is going on, and that's no fault of their own. I tried to look for other means of contact so I could reason with him rather than immediately going to the police. I wound up finding a lot, but what struck me most was a post on his Instagram boasting about how hard he worked and that his boss gave him a piano, the same piano that he was selling. The reason I put this into r/EntitledPeople is because people like this think they're entitled to your hard work. Don't be stupid like me. Use your brain even if you're trusting. I know that this has definitely shifted my faith in people. People who do this are not hard workers. They're crooks and cowards. He mentioned money makes the world go round, but that doesn't make you any less of an a-hole. Jesus Christ, that really is a despicable thing to do, but don't understand why they paid for it beforehand. Don't these transactions usually go cash in hand? I don't understand. People have seen so many examples of being scammed by frauds these days. Why would you not just take cash in hand so you can absolutely ensure that you're not being scammed? It just takes the complete incentive away. But I guess people learn from mistakes like this, so we can't blame OP entirely for this happening, and I really hope that they make that money back or can get some justice in this situation. Posted by user Konatada, "He stole my money from me, updated." Hello. So my previous post was about how this guy on Facebook Marketplace stole $430 from me for a piano that I never got. And then I saw him boasting about his hard work on Instagram. Bada bing, bada boom. But there is an update, my good lads. A few days after this incident, I had contacted his mother. I told the tale of the thief that stole my wit and money. I figured that this wouldn't work because people don't usually reply to messages from strangers. However, I received a message this morning from her. We had a conversation and she was very formal and asked a lot of questions. I provided proof to every question, and for about an hour, everything was silent, and she said she would keep in touch. I received all of my money back plus tax. I could only assume that the guy who stole it was torn in 15 pieces by his mum, and by golly, what a god. Mums are the best. My case was very abnormal, but let's take a moment to praise Mrs. B. Thank you, Miss B. Very cool. I'm glad that Miss B was able to fix this situation for OP. It's not every day, it's obviously not every year either, that we have situations like this get fixed, and I'm very glad that OP was able to get this one fixed as well as it was. Get that man torn asunder, 15 pieces, splay him across the room. That's the karma that we deserve in this world. Also, it's very rare to get an update post for r/EntitledPeople, so this is a once-in-a-lifetime post, isn't it? Posted by user Cinnamon Witcher, titled, "Entitled Art tries to get into the house, gets denied." Gonna make this short because if I told all the details, it would make 3 posts at least. My grandmother broke her leg, and for 5 years, my mother cared for her every day, despite my grandmother treating her like crap. Mum has 4 other siblings. One, entitled aunt, lived 10 minutes from grandmother and refused to help because it was just too far to drive, etc. Entitled auntie was constantly taking money from grandmother, and when mum would call her on her crap, she'd get mad and leave. Well, auntie decided to move out of state and didn't tell anyone she was going, which broke grandma's heart, because entitled auntie was her favorite. So entitled auntie makes no effort to call, check up, anything on grandmother, and when grandma gets put in hospice, actually says, "My granddaughter is getting married, 3rd time, so I'll see mum then." Said granddaughter wasn't getting married for a month. Anyway, grandma holds on, aunt keeps calling other aunt and uncle, never mum, and asking for updates. And when they don't have any, she tells other aunt, "Okay, you need to tell me when she's close because we need to go through the house and really search it because I know there's money in that house." This gets relayed to my mother through non-entitled aunts. So when grandma actually died, we weren't expecting her to show up. Guess what? She was on her way ASAP. So aunt is hauling ass to the house because we all know entitled aunt is on her way. Entitled aunt gets there with entitled cousin, and I very politely greet them and inform them that entitled aunt cannot come into the house. This starts a massive fight, because cousin is the type to A, blow crap out of proportion, and B, literally push her way into the house like what we say means nothing. I shut her down right there, preparing to be attacked. Mum eventually comes out, and it continues the fight where aunt is screaming. "Why can't I come in?" Mum yells back, "Because you didn't give a crap about Mum when she was alive, so you sure as hell don't get to come around now that she's dead." Aunt calls me scum, tells Mum she raised scum, and cousin gets back into the car, threatening me by saying when other aunt arrives, she will let them in. Newsflash, she didn't. They called uncle, he told them he didn't give a crap and hung up on them. So now cousin is threatening to call a lawyer and have us sued for what she claims is her mother's rightful inheritance, which she was given, but threw back at me like a little brat. Didn't hurt much, it was only $5. Jesus Christ, the pettiness on some people in these situations, hey? $5, whoa, that's all she got inherited from the mum? She deserves half of that for not being present when her mum was still alive. I've seen situations like this throughout my own life where families will fight over the stupidest of things, and it is honestly scary how much people turn when money gets involved in these scenarios. So I really feel for OP in this situation. They didn't deserve to have crazy come at them like this. Posted by user Sad Cosplays, titled, "Entitled neighbour expects us to pay £800 vet bill after a straily feed and her cat got into a fight. We've been feeding a random stray cat for the last 10 years. However, it never enters our home, and we believe that it may have been abandoned by a previous owner. Today, a neighbour came to our door and said that our cat scratched up their cat, and that we have to pay them £800 for the vet bill. We tell her that it's a stray, and she says that she saw it enter our home. However, it only goes onto the patio, so she is incorrect. Then after we say this, she says that she saw it go inside our house, which we once again deny. We, me and my dad, are pretty frustrated by this point. We're currently trying to renovate our home, so we don't have £800 to spend on a vet bill, which we are not responsible for. This woman continues rambling on about how her cat is purebred and expensive and whatever, and we tell her that if she doesn't want it getting into fights, then she should try to keep it inside the house, as it is natural for cats to fight for territory. After a bit more back and forth, she leaves after saying that she will mail the bill to us, which causes my dad to tell her that he will not pay for it. Update. My dad contacted a lawyer who said that she has no right to force the charges onto us, as the cat is not legally ours. Also, I just found out that the woman also said that she has a friend who is our neighbour from behind our garden who has a camera recording us. We are an immigrant family and moved to the UK 20-ish years ago, which is illegal. We did not give permission for the camera to be placed there. I will update if anything else happens. Update. Apparently the cat that had our neighbour's cat is actually a different cat. My take on this is, if it's a purebred and expensive cat like she's saying, why is it not being kept inside the house? If you don't want it getting in fights, don't even run the risk of having it outside. Why are they being filmed in their own backyard when they've been living in the UK for 20 years? How racist can some people be? Also, with people like this, you've got to start recording every instance of communication or anything you have with them, because who knows what they're going to turn on you? Who knows if they're going to be violent? People are unpredictable and scary. Screw that person. And isn't it great that the immigrant family is the one that gets turned on with the cat being theirs, when it wasn't even the stray cat in the end of this story? Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really activates those almonds. Posted by user Harkle Canada, titled, "Give me a chunk of your daughter's hair." Look, I know the title sounds crazy and fake, but my mum says the story really happened and I trust her. Plus, I remember bits of this encounter. I've been to Florida many times, so I have a lot of stories. This took place when I was 3, and at the time, I had very curly and very red hair. Now that it is very long, it's not curly, but more wavy. I've gotten many compliments about my hair, but this is the craziest story that I have. Keep in mind that my hair color cannot be matched, and if you want to dye your hair the same as mine, it's not possible. I don't understand where a claim like that comes from, but go off, sis. We were at Disney World, and my aunt, baby cousin, and older sister, and my mum went to the bathroom. My mum was fixing my hair, as it was all over the place from the humidity, when she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned around to see Karen and her daughter around the same age as me. Karen's like, "Hello, I couldn't help but notice your daughter's hair and how pretty it is." "Yes, it's very pretty. I was wondering if I could have a few strands of it so I can dye it the same color." I would prefer not to, and you can't match this hair color anyways." "Oh no, don't worry, it shouldn't be too hard, and I only want a little bit." She sounds like a Disney villain. "No, you can't, I'm sorry." By now, everyone had finished in the washroom and were ready to leave. As we were about to leave, Karen grabbed my hand. Yes, she actually grabbed my hand and began to reach for my hair. By now, the daughter had ran out of the bathroom, I believe to go find her dad, I think because she didn't like the situation. My mum went into full mother bear mode and swiped her hand away from me and told my older sister to go with auntie and baby cousin to wait outside. According to my mum, she proceeded to yell at Karen for touching me, and that even if she is allowed her to take a chunk of my hair, that there was no scissors allowed in Disney World. The Karen told my mum that she would have just pulled a few hairs, since she was sure that I wouldn't mind. My mum was dumbfounded and decided that she wasn't worth all of this drama. I'm sorry if it's not some huge drama-filled story, but it's pretty funny how stupid Karens can be. People will think that this story is fake, but it's another part of people fetishizing others for being different, and that's another disgusting piece of society, I guess. I don't condone that person's actions at all. I think it's completely disgusting. You don't assault a child and rip out strands of hair just because you want to match a color. Like, my God, as people in Florida that detached from reality? I'm not saying all Floridians are, I'm just saying these Karens are. How do you sleep at night attacking a child like that? My golly gosh. Posted by user Urania615, titled, $7 for a sandwich, I want to see a manager. It finally happened. I witnessed my first Karen. Boyfriend, 30 male, and I, 27 female, went to the local mini-mart to get some pizza dough. Thankfully, there's not much of a line, so get on and wait our turn. Suddenly, we see and hear this lady, henceforth known as Karen, unfortunately does not have the haircut, go off on this poor cashier girl complaining about the sandwich from the deli. I'm guessing she didn't know the price until it was rung up, because we suddenly hear, $7? Are you kidding? My boyfriend and I look at each other like, oh God. I want to see the manager. This is ridiculous. The cashier goes and comes back with the manager within 2 seconds. It's a small store. I gotta give credit, this guy doesn't back down. Karen is complaining about the price of the sandwich, and manager is explaining that the weight of meat in the sandwich equals to the price. She is not having it. Karen says, I can get it for much cheaper at the deli down the street. In my head, I'm like, then why are you here? I'm still gonna buy it, but just look at it. There isn't much meat. I'm sorry you don't like our prices, Karen, but that's how much it is with the weight of the meat, cheese, and spread. But that's far too high. Let me show you the sandwich. Miss, if you open the container, you have to buy it. I'll still pay for it, but I'm never coming here again. Lady proceeds to open the container and show him the contents of the sandwich. There's plenty of meat and cheese, but not worth $7. I don't make the prices. I'm sorry, miss. Manager rolls his eyes and leaves. This lady is now berating this cashier who has nothing to do with the pricing. My first job when I was 17 was a cashier for a supermarket, so I immediately empathized with this girl. There is so much you want to say, but can't because you have to keep that customer service smile in order to get that paycheck. The other cashier calls for me and boyfriend to ring us up. Then I hear this ridiculousness. What happened to the people who used to own this place? They never would have priced it like this. I'm not sure. I was hired after the new ownership took over. Even so, they no longer own this store. I'm gonna make a complaint. This is ridiculous. $7 for a tiny sandwich? Okay, so I've been to this store many, many times. The sandwiches are not big, but there's a decent amount of meat in there, and it depends, that's what she said, and it depends on what kind of sandwich you get. At this point, I've had enough, and so has boyfriend. We don't want to make a scene, and I'm not very good with confrontation. Boyfriend and I pay. The exit is right where Karen and the cashier are. We get to the exit, and just before we leave, I shout, "Bye, Karen!" Karen turns her head up to look at me with bewildered eyes. I walk off. Boyfriend looks at this lady with an annoyed and disapproving look. It may have been a bit cowardly, but I'm still kind of proud of it, especially when I heard one of the cashiers let out a laugh. Boyfriend and I laugh all the way back to the car. I don't know what happened after we left, but from the look at that lady's face, I think she realized just how she looked. Not very dramatic, no cops, no racist rant. Just an entitled lady complaining about a sandwich. Oh, and boyfriend and I made an awesome pizza. If you want cheap food, make it yourself. You're in a supermarket, surrounded by cheap products. What are you doing buying a sandwich in there, you stupid Karen? Go home and make your own sandwich if you want it that badly. Why go off at people? Like, are you that bored? Are you that sad of an individual that you need to yell at people whose responsibility it is not to make a sandwich? Are they really reaching that hard at straws? My God, what has the world become? I am cringing on the inside for this woman. Posted by user 2 Teacups. Entitled Old Woman Wants Me to Give Her My Seat. I'm on crutches. A little bit of backstory. 2 weeks ago, I, 18 female, fell down the stairs in my house and broke my ankle. Ow! And a couple of bones in my foot. My foot rolled off one stair and landed on the next at a 90-degree angle, and then managed to get caught in the banister a couple tumbles later. All this to say it was very broken. I've been on crutches, and my foot/ankle is in a huge neon green cast since then. I was on the train coming back from a doctor's appointment, unrelated to the foot. My mum dropped me off on her way to work, but obviously wasn't able to drive me back home. The bus I take after the train stops half a block from my house, so I'm able to make it home pretty easily. It was about 4:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, so the train has no empty seats. A kind stranger, KS, had given me the seat closest to the train doors. These seats are typically reserved for the disabled, pregnant, or elderly, and I think me and my leg fit into that category. They have a little sticker above them that shows a pregnant woman, an elderly person, and someone missing a leg. This will be relevant later. The train stopped at the busiest stop on our line, the dreaded mall stop. It's one stop before my station. A couple people clear out, a bunch more push on. Enter entitled old lady. She's 78, and I know that because she yells it a little while later. No obvious mobility issues. For context, the doors opened on the left side of the train. I was sitting on the right side. She power walks over to me, ignoring the priority seating on the left side, and says, "I need that seat. I'm an elderly citizen." I say, "Oh, I'm sorry ma'am, I'm actually on crutches and can't properly stand on the train." My crutches are stood in between my legs, so there's no way she didn't see them. It doesn't matter. These seats are for the elderly, disabled, and pregnant. You're injured, not disabled, so you need to give the seat to me. I'm sorry, if I broke my frickin' legs, am I not disabled for a while? Stupid. At this point, the train starts up, does a little jolt, which she manages just fine. The KS from earlier, who has a new seat about 5 seats down from me, says, "Ma'am, she needs that seat. Can't you see the crutches and cast? You can have my seat." No, that's fine. This girl is a child and does not need this seat. She can take yours. The train's moving, so I won't be able to safely get down there. Plus, it's too far from the doors, so I won't be able to get up and out when my station comes. I don't want to miss my stop. I'm 78. You're a child. The sign clearly doesn't show kids on crutches. It shows old women. I need that seat. At this point, people all around are listening in and offering their seats. The person 2 seats down gets up and walks away. Old lady keeps yelling that I don't respect my elders and need to move. She moves to grab at my crutches, but is pulled back by KS, who is now standing between me and old lady. Old lady is now yelling at KS for grabbing her. The person from 2 seats down has come back with a transit officer who was checking tickets on the opposite side of the train car. "Oh, thank God, officer, thank God. This child refuses to give up her seat for me, and this man just grabbed me and pushed me across the train. Ma'am, this young lady clearly needs the seat more than you, because you've been standing and yelling for 2 minutes now. I saw you go to grab at her crutches, and KS was simply protecting the young woman. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave at the next stop if you continue harassing them." Older lady dejectedly walks down from the opposite side of the train and death glares everyone else. After another minute, the train stops at my station. I asked the ticket guy if I could leave, and he helped me off the train. I thanked ticket guy, KS, and the woman who went to get TO. Anticlimactic ending, but oh well. I very obviously had the crutches, and was wearing a knee-length dress, so the neon green cast was very visible. I don't get why someone that age does not have the foresight and the years behind them to be like, whoa, I've seen situations that are messed up like this. I'm old enough, I can do it, I can be the bigger person here. Why does your age and ego have to just weigh over this woman who's in a cast? It's obvious that she can't move. Why are you being such an a-hole in this situation, old lady? I would feel bad if this old lady just started beating up that person in the crutches. Like, it happens. It does happen. People lose their tempers or they have mental illnesses. You never know. Lady was lucky she didn't get her foot kicked. Posted by user Sword Taster. Titled, Karen tries to police the internet. This is indeed as weird as it sounds. Apparently I'm not allowed to have an opinion. 2 days ago, 2nd of June, I received in the post, mail to the Americans out there, a letter from my work. A letter with a first-class stamp. A letter that had the words private and confidential written upon it. One does not receive such letters from where I work unless you have done something either very, very right or very, very wrong. As far as I'm aware, I had done neither, so I was unsure to what I owed the privilege of receiving such correspondence. I opened the letter to try and discern its purpose and what I'd done to receive it. It was a letter telling me I had a disciplinary hearing today, 4th of June, due to a social media comment. What the heck? They merged an exclamation and a question? I've never seen that. I hadn't mentioned anything about my job in literal months. Before Christmas, I think. And they didn't specify in the letter what it was that I said. So I had to wait. I get anxiety bad and I have a heart condition. I got to deal with not eating properly and chest pains for 2 whole days from the stress of this letter. And since I live with my mother, she also knew. I was allowed to bring her to the meeting with me too, but she's as anxious as me, so she barely slept since the letter arrived. Today at 10 a.m. is when the meeting room took place, I imagine that's supposed to be. We started work at 4 a.m., so I had to survive 6 hours at work with the chest pains and the not knowing. I got there and my manager was absolutely lovely. The comment that got me dragged into the office? I stated that I find a rainbow shirt designed by Harvey Price, disgraced glamour model Katie Price's disabled son, is hideous, and some tramp took offense to this. This entitled petty cow decided to find my profile, check my place of work, and make a complaint to head office in an attempt to get me fired because I hold a different opinion to her. I'm sorry for not bowing and scraping at the feet of Harvey Price, but I'm not going to call his design beautiful just because he's disabled. My manager basically laughed, told me to take my workplace off my profile, and said the words to the effect of, had she complained in our branch instead of to head office, she'd have been laughed out of the building. Fudging Karen. What is it with cancel culture? I can understand where people are coming from when people say disgraceful things online, but when it's something with a small opinion that you don't agree with, ooh, I don't like that, to me that looks ugly, oh, I don't like their work, I don't like the shirts. What's wrong with having an opinion? Why do people feel so enraged and entitled? They're like, gonna go after this person's sponsors, gonna go after this person's entire income, shut their life down because I don't agree with this one thing they did. But hey, they did some good stuff on the side, but they made one mistake and shut them down. Stupid cancel culture. I sincerely hope that we can put an end to that and give criminal convictions against these people that make false reports and allegations. I'm serious. That's the only way we shut this down. I believe that a level of entitlement has been allowed to go on for too long, and I think they're not entitled to strike people like that. Tell me what you guys think. I'm going to put you guys to outro Markee now. G'day there guys, outro Markee here. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Now with that said, we have some special mentions. Everyone that signed up for my Patreon, everyone that's a channel member, you guys all know who you are. I'm going to start putting you on screen in the near future. Sorry, I'm very lazy, but I do love each and every one of you, and you all know that. If you want to join, there is links down in the description below. If you want to be a channel member, there's a join button next to subscribe. It helps me out immensely. Also, I have a second channel that does memes. It's called Markee 2. It should be on screen here now. If you like memes and you want to laugh with me, it's some not so politically correct content all the time. Hope you enjoy it. Click on the screen, subscribe, and enjoy the memes. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.